Hello, everyone. Welcome to our very first ever virtual high school visit. Now, throughout today's presentation, I'm going to tell you about the many times Carleton University changed my life. The first time Carleton University changed my life happened when I was in my last year of high school. I was raised in Toronto by two loving parents. Now, my dad was a teacher, so for him, it was basically university or bust. Now you can imagine how excited he was when I told him about this event happening at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, featuring all the universities in Ontario. It was basically like Halloween, and my dad was wanting to go school by school, asking for all the treats. Now, my parents were really focused on keeping me local, and there were so many cool options in the GTA. But I had other plans. This was my way out. An opportunity to leave the nest and fully embrace my adult status. And so, right before we left the event, I convinced my parents to take in one last presentation offered by a school in the nation's capital. Now, I had no prior knowledge of Carleton other than knowing it wasn't in Toronto. So we sat down, and at some point during the presentation, it happened. I can't tell you what it was. I can't even tell you what it felt like, but I can honestly say in that moment that I knew I would be a Raven for life. My name is Stanley Philippe, and my intention today is to help you find your it moment. Now, before we jump into your journey, allow me to introduce you to our community. To start, Carleton University acknowledges the location of its campus on the traditional unceded territories of the Algonquin Nation. Now, in recent years, there have been many conversations surrounding reconciliation, both in our country and on our campus. Now, these conversations between the university and members of the Indigenous communities, both on and off campus, have led to 41 calls to action, which you can find in Kinamagwin, Carleton's Indigenous strategy. Now, Kinamagwin means learning together, and there are so many great spaces on our campus to do just that. Take, for example, the Ojibwanog Center, which is pictured here on the slide. It's a place where Indigenous and non-Indigenous students can study, socialize, and participate in academic and cultural programming. It truly has become the heartbeat of the Indigenous community on our campus. Now, speaking of which, nothing gets my heart racing quite like this shot. Now, if you've ever taken a helicopter ride over Carleton University, this will look very familiar. But if you haven't, here it is, Carleton U. Now, one of the coolest things about Carleton is you'll find 99.9% of its physical spaces right here on our self-contained campus. Now, this includes our residence buildings, our athletic facilities, and of course, our innovative learning spaces. Another neat part of our campus is something you can't see on this picture. Carleton's connected by over 5 kilometers of underground tunnels. Now, winter happens all over this country from coast to coast to coast. But if you happen to be at Carleton during a snowstorm, you can navigate the school in a warm, well-lit environment. Now, our tunnels also allows our campus to stay 100% accessible for all of our students, which is really important to us. Now, you'll often hear Carleton reps talking about the capital advantage. And believe me when I tell you, our programs, professors, and students certainly benefit from being located in the nation's capital. But it's also our location in the city that plays a huge role in creating our identity. Now, we are surrounded by the Rideau Canal, which becomes the largest skating rink in the world during the winter. The Rideau River that offers our community a beautiful setting to relax, to recharge, and reflect. And Bronson Avenue, which connects our school to the downtown core and the Ottawa International Airport. Now, these three landmarks come together to embody what Carleton's all about. We want to share as much knowledge as possible to provide you with the tools to shape the future. We want to make our local and global communities as welcoming, inclusive, and diverse as possible. And we want to support all our students as they navigate the many challenges, obstacles, and triumphs they are sure to face throughout their post-secondary experience, which brings us back to why you're here. And to the 9 attendees I'm seeing, again, thank you for joining us, really appreciate it. And that brings us again back to why we're here. We're here because we're starting your journey. Now, one that will help you hopefully find the right program, tap into our financial resources, discover your new home, and really get excited for what will become your community. Go Ravens. Now, if you haven't noticed, there's a great way for you to interact with us throughout the remainder of the presentation. If you hear anything that sparks your interest or have any questions about what you will see on screen, please don't hesitate to use the Q&A function. We literally have a team of recruitment officers waiting to answer your questions. They'll also post some pretty cool links like 360.carleton.ca that you'll want to bookmark on your web browser. Now, usually around this time of year, we would be traveling around the country, meeting our future Ravens in person. But as we know, 2020 has been anything but usual. Instead, we've created a suite of unique virtual experiences that you'll want to check out. The Live at 5 will take a closer look at topics that will impact your post-secondary decisions, like financial aid, housing, and student support. We had our first Live at 5 last Wednesday. It'll happen again this Wednesday, where we'll feature athletics as well as our clubs and societies. The Talking Raven is a new podcast hosted by me, and I may be biased, but I've got a feeling it's going to become the greatest podcast the world has ever seen. And our future Raven coffee breaks will give you an opportunity to meet with our recruitment officers virtually. Now, these sessions can be one-on-one, or you can get your parents together or a group of friends together and chat about your applications. You can visit our admissions website to learn more about how you can schedule your own coffee break. Now, before jumping into our programs, I want to touch on what you'll need to get in. So for our Ontario high school students, Carleton will be looking for your top 6 grade 12 U or M courses, including your prerequisites. Now, different degrees will ask for different classes. For example, a student applying to our BA in Human Rights and Social Justice will need to include their English 4U grade, while an aerospace engineer, or all of our engineers, will have to include advanced functions, chemistry, physics, and another math or science, all at that 4U level. Now, there are 2 awesome ways for you to learn more about the application process. One is by visiting admissions.carleton.ca, and then the other, well, we'll touch on that a little bit later on, so stay tuned for the big reveal. Speaking of reveals, I want to reveal the second time Carleton University changed my life. It happened in my very first university course. Now, I studied in our Bachelor of Arts in what was then known as the Mass Communications program. Now, growing up in Toronto, I only went to French schools. My parents are Haitian and really wanted myself and my brothers to maintain our bilingual status. So I was feeling kind of nervous of studying in an English setting, so much so that I ended up taking a handful of classes offered en français through our French department. I was also the only person from my high school to attend Carleton that year, and so walking into a massive classroom by myself felt like a scary proposition. Luckily, I discovered a little thing called a first-year seminar. Now, these classes, capped at 30 students or less, give our BA students an opportunity to not only learn in an intimate setting, but to also develop some different skills. Now, my seminar was titled Speech Making and Public Speaking, which, spoiler alert, is what I now do for a living. But the moment that really impacted me happened on day 1. So I walked into the classroom, I sat beside this guy who ended up being one of my best friends in my program. And Brock, if you're watching, I miss you, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well. And then I witnessed something I never thought I would in a university class. My professor swore, and not in a mean or frustrated or offensive kind of way. He was simply having a conversation with us, and it just slipped out. And that moment really helped humanize the person at the front of the class and made me kind of realize that as scary as university might seem at first, it can also become a place of great discovery. So as I spend the next few minutes talking about our programs at Carleton, don't be afraid to discover something completely new. In fact, if you see a program that sparks your interest, type it into the Q&A. Now, our team will be more than happy to provide you with some awesome insight. Now, Carleton offers over 100 areas of study, 22 degree programs, and 5 distinct faculties. Now, each faculty, or as we like to call them, academic houses, has its own signature trait. The Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences is known for its interdisciplinary nature. You know, it's not unusual to find a humanities student sitting beside a cognitive science student in one of our popular psychology courses. In degrees like the Bachelor of Arts, you'll find more than 35 different majors to choose from. It's one of the reasons why we created Carleton 360. Now, this customizable virtual university hub makes staying on top of your university programs, or your programs of interest, really easy. So do me a favor, visit 360.carleton.ca to create your unique Carleton experience. Now, if you're somebody that wants to change the world through policy, media, and storytelling, you'll want to check out our Faculty of Public Affairs. You know, whenever someone asks me, what's Carleton known for? I tend to gravitate towards our Bachelor of Journalism. Why? Well, because we've been doing it longer than anyone else, 75 years and running. And our grads are leaving their mark in newsrooms, publications, and digital platforms around the world. But the truth is, we are probably best known for our connections to the nation's capital. Now, being located in a city that truly matters means our media production and design students get a chance to create the virtual experience for many national museums located in Ottawa. Or if you're like Ben, pictured here in front of the Peace Tower, it means being a first-year public affairs and policy management student working on Parliament Hill as a House of Commons page. I can't think of a better way to start your post-secondary career than working side by side with our members of Parliament, including our Prime Minister, all while earning close to $17,000 in year one. Now, I'm the page liaison at Carleton, so if you have any questions about the House of Commons or Senate page program, please let me know in the Q&A. I'll do my very best to answer those questions at the end of the presentation. Now, our Faculty of Engineering and Design will attract students who want to channel their creativity towards changing our physical spaces and designing our future world. Now, this fusion of creative genius and detail-oriented execution is why programs like architecture, industrial design, and interactive multimedia design, which you'll find in our information technology degree, will ask students to submit a portfolio. So if you're considering those areas, we'll provide you with more information about your portfolio requirements once we've received your application. That's also true for programs like social work and the Bachelor of Music, which also has additional requirements. Now, there isn't a task too big or too small for our amazing engineers, and I mean this literally. The picture on the left of your screen was taken inside the Northern Nomad, a tiny house with a big impact. At 220 square feet, it is intended to be a net zero energy building, meaning that in a calendar year, it produces as much energy as it consumes. Now, this capstone project is a collaborative effort between 6 engineering programs, including mechanical and sustainable renewable energy engineering, and our students in the architecture degree. Now, our Faculty of Science is probably best known for its pursuit of the next great hypothesis. Now, research is so important that you'll find many of Bachelor of Science students, like my friend Celine, who graduated a couple years ago and did some amazing work that got published recently. These students are working alongside our award-winning faculty on the kind of scientific discovery, innovation, and education that will change the world. Again, the capital advantage is really present through organizations like the National Research Council and the National Wildlife Research Center, which is located around campus, or the fact that Carleton is home to 8 Canada Research Chairs with appointments in biology, physics, neuroscience, and computer science. Now, this means that you'll be taught by some of the best talent from Canada and around the world. Now, question, what do Elon Musk, Kylie Jenner, and our computer science students have in common? Well, they are all currently working with Shopify, a local e-commerce business with global connections. So if you are applying to computer science, please take the time to look into the dev degree. It's a unique paid opportunity you won't want to miss. Now, our final faculty is the Sprott School of Business, home to some of the most caring, connective, and creative people you will ever meet. Now, I want to draw your attention to the building in the background of this slide. Starting in your first year, the Nickel Building will become the new home for all things business at Carleton. And from what I've seen, it's going to become the centerpiece of our campus too. Now, our commerce and international business students will be able to treat themselves to the following: sustainable design from core to skin. Treat yourself. Campus-wide venture accelerator and student entrepreneurship. Treat yourself. Bridgehead coffee. Treat yourself. Now, this collaborative space will allow our students to continue to work alongside our professors on projects with real-world implications. Take, for example, the Crisis Management and Recovery Initiative, a chance for our current undergraduate Sprott students to serve as consultants for businesses and nonprofit organizations who are facing many challenges as a result of COVID-19. Now, students taking part in this initiative will have earned a certificate in crisis management and recovery prior to engaging with these organizations. The goal is to allow our Carleton community to do what it does best: support and serve. So that's the end of our tour of Carleton's academic options. Again, please visit 360.carleton.ca to learn more about the programs you're interested in. Now, if you're just tuning in, welcome, first off. Maybe you've been looking for ways to finance your education. If that is the case, you've got some impeccable timing. $24 million. Let me say the number again. $24 million. That's how much money Carleton awarded last year. The question is, how can you help us exceed that amount? Well, the first thing you do is earn an entrance scholarship. So students who are admitted with an 80% average or better will automatically qualify for an entrance scholarship valued between $4,000 and $16,000 over the course of 4 years. Now, these are unlimited, meaning every single applicant can receive this award. The second thing you can do is apply for a prestige scholarship. Now, if you are a superstar student, maybe you're captain of your hockey team, president of your student council, you're really active in your community, all while maintaining a high academic average, you may qualify for an award valued at $20,000 over 4 years to full tuition. Yeah, free ride. Now, the application deadline is March 1st and can be found on our website, carleton.ca/awards. The third thing you can do is apply for an entrance bursary. So bursaries are based off financial need, not academic achievement. So by painting your financial picture, we may be able to provide you with some resources to help cover some of your tuition fees, your residence fees, etc. Now, please remember to apply for a leadership entrance bursary by April 2nd and a Carleton University entrance bursary by June 30th. Finally, the last thing you can do is explore our awards and financial aid website. You'll learn about additional departmental and community awards that may be available to you. Again, that website is carleton.ca/awards. Now, if you've ever wondered about Carleton's population, I've got an answer. We are home to over 31,000 students from over 150 countries. This means each day we get to tell over 31,000 different stories from all over the world. And for those of us who are fortunate enough to work at Carleton, our main objective is to support our storytellers. Now, when we mention support, we're talking about offering 24/7 virtual mental health resources during a global pandemic. We're talking about creating 20 learning support workshops covering everything from how to study smarter to the art of asking. We're also talking about giving you over 300 clubs and societies to choose from to help you become the best Raven you can be. And dogs. Our legendary CU therapy dogs support our students in the best of ways, but don't take my word for it. Follow at CU Therapy Dog, that's the letter C, the letter U, Therapy Dog on Instagram to see for yourself. No matter where you go, make sure the community you'll be investing in is the right fit. It can literally change your life. Which brings me to the third time Carleton University changed my life. After deciding to attend Carleton, I knew my first CU experience would involve residence. Now, while my parents fully supported my decision to pursue my post-secondary education in a different city, they just couldn't muster up the strength to accompany me on moving day. And I'll never forget, pulling out of my parents' driveway and seeing my mom, tears flowing down her cheeks, slowly fading away in the rearview mirror. The only silver lining was my brother decided to drive me to Ottawa. Now, I have something to confess. I never took a tour of Carleton's campus in high school. So this was going to be my very first time seeing my future home in person. Now, my brother was fully aware of how anxious and nervous and intimidated I felt about moving to a new city. So I thought to myself, at least I know he'll be there with me the entire weekend. My brother had other plans. So when we arrived on campus, he barely stopped the car, took out all of my stuff from his trunk. He wished me good luck and proceeded to drive back to Toronto. Suddenly, I was the one solely fading away from his view. But in a stunning twist, what I thought was no longer available to me was there all along. Carleton's community fully embraced me, from the orientation leaders who literally helped move me into my room, to the residence fellow who became my mentor, event planner, and person to lean on, to my awesome roommate who helped me discover all the great things Ottawa had to offer. Yes, I had found my CU family. So if you're thinking about living in residence and are nervous about what that might look like, I have a pretty good feeling it will quickly become your home away from home. Now, first-year students admitted to Carleton will receive a guaranteed offer of residence. Now, as long as you accept your offer of admission, confirm your residence offer, and pay your $700 deposit by June 8, 2021 at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, your guaranteed offer will become a guaranteed spot. Now, there are two different styles. A traditional, which is where two rooms share a bathroom, and suite style, where you'll find a kitchenette, a living room area, and a bathroom in your suite. You can request a single room, or if you have a friend that's coming to Carleton with you, you can request them as your roommate. No matter your setup, you'll benefit from Carleton's award-winning Residence Life program and legendary, and I mean a legendary caf. The food is really good on campus. All right, now if you look closely at each picture here on screen, you'll notice a trend. Let's take a closer look. Looks like each photo features Carleton in a winning moment against our crosstown rivals. It feels really good to win. And when you've managed to accomplish a perfect season like our women's basketball team did a couple seasons ago, or capture 15 of 18 national championships like our men's basketball team has done, it's no wonder you get to use the tagline, where champions play. And while not all champions are built equally, they all carry the same legacy. And I should know, I'm a 5-time intramural volleyball champion. I'm gonna let that breathe. Now, I mentioned earlier that I didn't tour Carleton's campus. So my advice to you is to do as I say and not as I do. Visit carleton.ca/virtual tour to see everything Carleton has to offer from the comfort of your own home. Again, that site, carleton.ca/virtual tour. Okay, it's time to reveal the second awesome way for you to learn more about the application process. Carleton's Viewbook is the #1 resource for students curious about the application process, along with other cool tips and info you won't find anywhere else. So after you signed up for Carleton 360, ask us to mail you a viewbook. Even more impressive is by simply investing a little bit of time creating your path to Carleton, you may receive some CU swag. Now, we want you to start repping the Ravens before you step foot on our campus. So again, visit 360.carleton.ca and follow us on Instagram at Carleton_future for your chance to receive a hoodie, a bear, a Carleton mask. And it's important to wear a mask. And so why not wear a mask in style? The Ravens masks look pretty fresh, if I do say so myself. So definitely get a chance to win one of those, to receive one of those great items and other cool swag too. And with that, we've come to the end of the presentation. Now, in case you were wondering, my parents did make it to Carleton for my graduation. You know, Dad recording me as I walked across stage. My mom with tears flowing down her cheeks, but this time, tears of joy. And my brother, well, let's just say he managed to park the car. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to stick around for the next 10 minutes or so to answer all of your questions that you may have, and we'll of course be available to help you throughout your journey. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay curious. Take care.